Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Before we get started, all of you should have a mask on your face above your nose. Give your masks a check. There we go. Beautiful. If it creeps down, as sometimes masks are wont to do, one of the ushers will come ask you to keep it above your nose. Welcome to First Parish Brewster. We are a Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregation of people of diverse philosophies and beliefs, people of various cultures and races, sexual orientations, gender identities, abilities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your path, may this be a place of rest and restoration on your journey. For those of you who may be first-time visitors this morning, welcome. Welcome on this morning, which we make sacred by our presence together. A big welcome to people streaming. Let's give them a wave. And let's give the people outside a wave in the memorial garden. We do ask that you keep your mask on during the entire service if you are 4 years of age or older. We ask that you wear your what? Name tags too, yes. Please get your name tags. If you do not have a name tag, we do have paper name tags when you come in. It's a way that we can be welcoming to all. So please do wear your name tags. Please silence your cell phones. I want to give a big welcome to our families that are present. If your children make noises, we welcome them because children make noises. We promise to try not to turn around and give looks. Right? We want to be a welcoming congregation to people of all ages. So welcome to all the children and babies and all the noises that they bring. Our services go 60 to 75 minutes. If you need to leave before then, you're welcome to use the doors at the rear of the sanctuary. I'm Reverend Jessica Clay, the minister of this congregation. Happy to be welcoming you to the service this morning with Twinks Hastings, our Lifespan Religious Education Director. Our services are recorded and available on our YouTube channel midweek. Welcome to worship this morning. It is so good to be together. Our chalice lighting this morning is Toward Repair of Relationship by Reverend Joanna Lubkin. We light this chalice in honor of Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement. May its flame call us to search our souls, sifting through the past year to see where we may have missed the mark. May its light guide us towards the courageous and open-hearted apology toward repair of relationships in our lives. May its heat warm our hearts to offer forgiveness to those who have wronged us, allowing us to release the chains of grudge and blame that have bound us to them. And may its strength help us to take the actions that are within our power to make this next year more just, more loving, and more peaceful for our communities and for all of humanity. And let us say amen. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, Gathered Here. And I'm going to guess that most of you don't need your hymnals for this. So I'm going to encourage you to leave the hymnals in the pews and just sing from your heart. And those that are new or haven't been here a lot, you're welcome to use them. But sometimes we like to hold on to them because it's kind of like a security blanket. But this is a chance to just sort of open your heart. Sing big. Twinks is going to do the arm movements if you would like to join her. We will sing it through 3 times.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered affirmation. We believe in love.
Love is the doctrine of this church.
We believe in truth.
Quest for truth is the sacrament.
We believe in helping others.
And service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine.
So, children and youth, I know we have some out in the garden and some out front, but I want you to do something special. I want you to put on your backpacks if you brought them. Don't worry if you didn't. And if you feel comfortable, I want you to stand up on your pews. I know that your adults may tell you never to stand on the pews at church, and I want you to listen to them at all other times. But right now, I want you to get up and stand if you're able right there on your pews. And any youth and anyone that doesn't want to stand on their pews, you can come and join me right here on the chancel. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. So youth, you can come up and join me here on the chancel, because I know you probably don't want to stand on your pew. And anyone in the garden, you can look in the window if you want to. All right. So, children and youth, I want you to look around at all the faces looking at you. People you know and people you don't know. And I want you to know that they love you and that they will be there with you this year on the bus and in the hallway, in the lunchroom and in the playground and in your classrooms. They will be with you in your heart, loving you and cheering you on. You can remember us whenever you need us, because there are so many great things about belonging to First Parish Brewster, but the best thing about it all is having this community of adults who care about you, who stand beside you, and who commit to helping be your community as you grow. So everyone take a look around at our children and youth and out in the yard and
and all the adults, do you agree to this? Yes. All right. All right, great job. Take care, getting down, and everybody come up and join me up here, including all of the adults who are going to be working with these beautiful children this year. Even if you've signed up as a sub, Marie, come on. All of you all. There we go. You can come up in the chancel.
It's not that scary up here, I promise.
I know you haven't seen us all in a while, but we're really not scared. Promise. There. Okay.
Only on Halloween.
Okay. Our blessing this morning was adapted by words and ideas of a colleague, Jen Crow. This year, our theme in religious education, and that's all of religious education for children, youth, and adults, is being you, Y-O-U, you. We will be exploring what's important to each of us and how that makes sense when we think about what being a Unitarian Universalist means. And after we bless you all, you will each be gifted a bee for your backpack or your handbag or your other kind of bag to remind you of this community hive who are always here for you. So congregation, are you ready to bless these beloved children and youth as they explore together being you? Yes. All right, I'm going to ask you to hold your hands towards our children and youth. And children and youth, are you all ready to be blessed? Yeah? No? Maybe?
Yes. I guess so, if we have to be.
So, it's been been a while since our kids and youth have been in church, and I kind of forgot what it was like to be in church, so I don't blame you all for forgetting a little bit about what it's like to be in church.
Spirit of love and life, be with our children as they journey out from us. Fill their hearts with courage and strength and tenderness. Help them to tell their truth about who they are and all that they see.
Help us to listen to our children and youth in a way that lets them speak. Help them to be brave and bold in their exploration of what matters to them, what fills their spirits, hearts, minds, and souls.
Help these children and youth understand how beloved they are to this faith community and bless them in a year of growth, learning, magic, and fun. And let the people say, blessed be and amen.
Blessed be and amen.
All right, now I think we should bless our teachers and CYM committee who do the great work of guiding our children and youth through their year here at First Parish. And I'm going to say that our Children and Youth Committee, all of the volunteers on that committee are also teaching this year, so they need an extra special blessing.
This morning, we dedicate our religious education teachers who have been called to minister to our children, to our future. Without them to teach, nurture, challenge, mentor, our religious movement would be greatly diminished. Indeed, it would die. Religious education is a lifelong process which integrates the wisdom of the world's religions and the philosophies with our present experience of reality and hope for the future.
As children and youth grow and discover our religious roots, you too will be on a journey. For some of you, this is a new adventure. For others, a continuing experience. We are entrusting our future and faith into your hands. There are no words to express our appreciation for the work that you will do with our beloved children and youth. We appreciate the time, gifts, and diversity that you are bringing to our religious education program. We want you to bring both your heart and your mind, your love and reason, and we know that you are fully capable and that you will bring your authentic self in all that you do.
We dedicate these teachers to be a crucial part of the nourishment of our children's spiritual growth. You who have chosen to teach our children will have the special blessing of being not only part of their religious development, but a loving part of our children's memories.
Do you, the congregants of First Parish Brewster, covenant to nurture and support these teachers called to minister to our children, as well as acknowledging the great importance of religious education for all ages?
Oh, we could do that better. Yes. There we go. We send blessings of love and support to the whole CYM community as they begin this year together. May it be one of wonder and growth. And let the people say, blessed be and amen.
Blessed be and amen.
And now we will sing the children off to begin religious education this year. They will have a blessing outside together and a celebration. Or are you wanting to give that out right now? Or children, take a B and then follow the adults outside. So come on and take a B for your backpack to remember we're all part of the hive. And let's all sing them out. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May our lost the word. Found you everywhere, everywhere you may go. One more time. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Twinks, do you need your iPad? Okay, great. The words to that were a little different than we printed them in our order of service before. And that's because the author of that did not want them changed, even though you changed them. So that's why they are different, respecting the author of that hymn. So I invite you to settle into your seats for a time of meditation. So you can set down anything you have in your hands. Cast your eyes down or close them. Notice the sounds of the children as they go across the street, of the breezes as they pass through. Our meditation this morning is At One by Victoria Safford. Imagine this. On the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, every fall, every year, the people make their peace with anyone they have wronged or slighted or injured or in any way neglected in the past 12 months. The task is not to patch things up, smooth things over, reach a compromise, or sweep mistakes and uneasy memories under the rug. The task is not to feel better. The task is ownership. The goal is truth for its own redemptive sake. I did this. I said this to you, and it was wrong. I neglected this. I botched this. I betrayed you thusly. I demeaned you, whether you ever knew it or not. This is the truth in which both of us are living. I ask you to forgive me. Imagine how many deep breaths you would need to take. Imagine how many doors you'd have to knock on, how many phone calls you'd have to make, how many letters, how many lunches and coffees, how many awkward moments with your children and your parents and with strangers, that cashier to whom you spoke so sharply. Awkward is irrelevant. The task is not about comfort, it is about truth, about wholeness and holiness, restoration. Imagine this. Someone has been preparing all year to speak with you, to write to you, to ask you a hard question. Perhaps in some way not quite conscious, you have even known this and you have been preparing too. Finally, you answer the door or the phone or open the letter with shaky hands, and there it is. What you thought you'd been longing for but really have dreaded. Someone is asking your forgiveness. The task is not about comfort, it is about truth. Awkward is irrelevant. You get to choose now. You have to choose whether and how you will participate in restoration. Abandon the pleasant piety that claims knee-jerk forgiveness as the unquestioned moral course. You get to choose which way will be right in this case, between you as persons and with all your gods. What response will make the world more whole? Imagine. Something yearns in us to come round right. Something creaky, rusty, almost calcified within us, tries in spite of us and all of our fears and self-deceptions to turn and turn and creak and turn again and come round a little truer. Something in us stretches towards conversion. Imagine healing, wholly from within. We will now have a few minutes of silence, followed by Comfort Me.
offertory I'm skipping ahead. Our reading this morning is Naila by Marge Piercy. The hinge of the year, the great gates opening and then slowly, slowly closing on us. I always imagine those gates hanging over the ocean, fiery over the stone gray waters of evening. We cast what we must change about ourselves into the waters flowing to the sea. The sins, errors, bad habits, whatever you call them, dissolve. When I was little, I crowd out, I want. Older, I feel less important. A worker bee in the hive of history, miles of hard labor to make my sweetness. The gates are closing, the light is failing. I kneel before what I love, imploring that it may live. So much breaks, wears down, fails in us. We must forgive our broken promises. They're sharp shards in our hands. Each week, we have the practice of splitting our offertory plate. Half of what is collected goes to the work of First Parish Brewster, and half goes to a worthy organization. This morning's split plate goes to the Pearl Fund, which is part of Nauset Interfaith Association. In 2019, the Refugee Support Action Team of Nauset Interfaith established the Pearl Fund to help support the Ntumba Sifa Asylum family. Tony, Joelle, and daughter Pearl, who many of you know, who have been here in this congregation before for different events, are from the Democratic Republic of Congo and are now living here on Cape Cod. Tony has a part-time second job and is seeking to build up his photojournalism profession. This family came here without any monetary resources, but with much love, faith, and hope, are making a new life here on Cape Cod. The Refugee Support Action Team of Nauset Interfaith and others met Tony and Joelle shortly after she was reunited with him in 2018. In 2019, their daughter Pearl, then age 7, was brought to join them with a special student visa. Pearl's a student at St. Pius School in South Yarmouth. Joelle has had 2 bouts of surgery, which have saddled the family with a lot of medical bills. The Pearl Fund can help them pay off that medical debt and assist them in securing citizenship. Both of these goals require significant funding. So today we ask you to be as generous as possible to help this worthy fund. Your offering will benefit this fund and the great work of First Parish Brewster. There are a couple of ways you can give. You can make out a check, you can put cash in the basket, or you can text to give. The number is in your order of service. For those who are streaming online, you can go to our website and donate as well. And for those outside, one of the ushers will come outside as well to you. So however you choose to give today, we thank you for your generosity. The offertory will now be gratefully accepted.
So as you've heard this week, it was Yom Kippur on Wednesday, a day of atonement. And so as Unitarian Universalists, we don't have many days of atonement, do we? No, the answer is no. So today is a day to think on your actions over the last year and think if there's anybody that maybe deserves an apology from you, anybody you are seeking forgiveness from. Does everyone have a piece of that paper you were handed when you came in? Does anybody need paper? We have one upstairs. Anybody else upstairs need some? Wilderness, do you have an extra? Okay, would you mind running it to the other side? I think we're good. We don't need an usher to go upstairs. Wilderness has it. Can you run it though, please, Wilderness? Anyone down here need an extra piece? Thanks, Frank. Everybody have something to write with? Okay, so hopefully during the reading and during the meditation, maybe something came to mind. Something that you did or said or thought over the last year. Something that is sitting on your heart today that you would like to take action on, that you would like to release. So I invite you to think of that, and if you have that in mind, to write it on your piece of paper. No one else is going to see these. This is entirely just for you. So think about, none of us is without wrongdoing. None of us is without causing harm, even though we try our best to wake up and live lives of intention and ethics and integrity each day. Yet it behooves us to make space, to take space, to do an inventory, to see if there is something that we need to apologize for, to ask forgiveness from as we head into this church year together. It doesn't have to be someone in this community. It could be a stranger. So once you think of that, write it on your piece of paper. We are not the worst things we have done. The purpose of this exercise is not to make you feel shame for that thing. This is a ritual of release. A release in here, in this community, and then hopefully a release as you go out into the world and do what needs to be done to make amends. Give you just a little more time so you can write it down if you need to. This is special paper this morning. It dissolves in water. So we have a bowl of water here. I don't know how fast it dissolves, so I invite you to crinkle it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from the front of these pews, and you're going to go counterclockwise around and put your water in one at a time, giving each other space. We don't have a 6-foot rule here, but try and give each other a little bit of space. So as people in each pew get up, the others can wait to get up so that we don't get a log jam. So you're invited to come up, come around, and put your paper in the water and really think, what do I need to do to really let this go? This is part 1 of it. Part 2 is on you once you leave this place. But this is done in community, knowing that you are held in this community, that we are all beloved, and we all get chances to try again. You may begin coming up now. If you can come up counterclockwise, start in the front pews, and make your way back. so as I look at this bowl, I see cloudy water. I see words dissolving into it, giving it a swirl. Thick with the thoughts, the feelings, the actions of this community. But an opportunity for all who put their papers in. And for those who didn't feel like coming up, for those who are maybe outside, streaming at home, you can still do this. You can still take actions to make amends, to ask for forgiveness. It's not too late. You can still find ways to forgive yourself and to know that we are not the worst thing we have done. May this be step 1 of this process for you. And may step 2 happen when you leave this place, whatever that needs to be for you. Amen. I invite you to open your gray hymnals to responsive reading number 637, A Litany of Atonement. I will read the non-italicized words. I think someone outside needs a hymnal if we can spare an extra one through the window. I will read the non-italicized words, and you will read the italicized ones. And if you came here with someone, maybe a partner, I invite you to say the response to each other. Because often the people we have harmed are those who are closest to us. But make it serious. If it becomes like a joke, then just keep it in. And if you came alone or you just want to do it alone, that's fine too. And the response is the same every single time. So you can just close your eyes and say it as well. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference. For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible. For each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause. For each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others. Now I invite you to close the hymnal because you should know the response by now. And just let the words sink in. For the selfishness which sets us apart and alone. For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit. For losing sight of our unity. For those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness. So that could be your mantra. To practice forgiving and beginning again in love every single day. And so, as I said at the beginning of the ritual, this past Wednesday was the holiest day of the year to many Jewish people. It was Yom Kippur, or the Day of Atonement. The story goes that Moses found the people of Israel worshiping a golden calf, and he went to Mount Sinai to ask God to forgive them. Yom Kippur began after Moses was given God's forgiveness for the people of Israel, and he descended the mountain, and that day was known as Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And for many Jewish people, the week leading up to Yom Kippur after Rosh Hashanah is a time of great reflection and intention, a time of taking stock of their actions over the year. What results are phone calls and letters and emails and conversations over coffee where people apologize for the harm they have caused. And sometimes it just begins by saying, if I have done anything to wrong you this year, I ask for your forgiveness. And as Unitarian Universalists, this can be a difficult step to take. We don't have a holiday where we do this collectively as a community, and we know that the Universalist side of our religion tells us that we were not born sinful. We are already saved just by being born, and that we are beloved children of all that is good and right in the world. And one of the characteristics of white middle-class culture in the United States is conflict avoidance. Conflict avoidance doesn't tell us to practice apologizing and often. It doesn't tell us to see conflict as a source of transformation, to own our wrongs. Instead, we're often taught to just store those conflicts and resentments in our hearts, acting like everything is fine, until they burst out when we least expect it. Our church-wide covenant, which we passed in June, which is on the back of your order of service, explicitly states that we see conflict as a source of change and growth. That our ultimate goal is reconciliation. And we could all benefit from an annual time of introspection in looking at our actions over the last year, seeing where we missed the mark, where we could have done better, and practicing apologizing to each other, practicing apologizing to our families, to our friends, practicing forgiveness and compassion with each other. As I review the last year, a lot of the harm that I've caused is within myself. It's wishing people were different than they were and being angry at them for just being themselves. It's being judgmental and being involved in things that don't actually involve me. Recently, I was lamenting to a mentor of mine about frustrations with a family member, wishing they would show up more in my life and support me, but they've never really done that over their whole life. And that doesn't mean that I don't love them and cherish our relationship, but it's easy for me to get stuck in that place of longing, of lack, of wanting more. And my mentor said, if only they were different than they actually are. He often says things like this, kind of glib, humorous things that really strike right to the heart of the matter, which caused me to reflect on how much time I spend wishing people were different. More like me, really. And how much time I could actually be spending accepting them for who they are with ease and letting go of that longing that they be different. When we acknowledge our wrongs, acknowledge the ways that we fall short in community, it's not from a place of shame. It's a place of recognizing that we accompany each other on this journey. And in accepting people for who they are, it doesn't mean we allow them to treat us badly. I just want to make that distinction. And so as we accompany each other on this journey, for those of you who have God or the divine as part of your theology, to know that they are accompanying you as well, that you're not alone in this, and that you are still beloved. Atonement is not about making a list of all the ways that you were a jerk and then using that to feel like a terrible person for the rest of the week. That's not what this bowl is about. So I don't want to hear any of you doing that when you leave this place. It's about finding ways to let go, about recognizing how long you may have been carrying guilt around an action, and that carrying that around is no longer serving you. It may not have even served you at the beginning. And this time we're in is full of so much anxiety. I talked about those trauma responses last week. We are so reactive right now. And there's so much fear in the air that we breathe. This is an invitation to take stock of our options and our choices from a place of compassion, not shame. A place of remembering that we are not our actions. Those don't make us who we are. But we have this inherent goodness, this inherent divine within us, that we are beloved to ourselves and to each other and to our interdependent web, and we are all needed. This is an invitation towards compassion and gentleness and towards letting go of those things that no longer serve you. All you need to do is turn on the news, and there are plenty of reasons to be angry. Plenty of reasons to feel like humanity is just going in the toilet. But this is an invitation to take a different path, to remember that we are all connected, and that the more you can be gentle and at ease with yourself, the more you can acknowledge your wrongs with others, the more you can be compassionate with asking for and giving forgiveness to others. That is helping to make this world a more gentle and loving place. And isn't that what we're here for? This is about vulnerability. This is about acknowledging that we are all human, we're all imperfect, and we make mistakes. But it's what we do with them that matters. It's never too late to say you're sorry. It's never too late to reach out to someone and apologize for something that you may have done, even if they don't accept it. It's never too late to begin again in love with yourself and with those you are connected to. Last week, I invited you to be so gentle with each other during this time, and that continues this week. Forgiving and being forgiven is a gift not freely given, but generously given. Will you share that with each other? Will you be gracious and generous with each other and gentle with yourself as you review the ways that you could have done better? Now I want your response. Yes. Okay. I love you all so much. And if there are any of you who I have caused harm to in the past year, I ask for your forgiveness. Through being your minister, a mirror is held up to me to show me the ways that I could have done better. But your gentleness and love is a gift, and for that I thank you. May you go from this place with intention to make the world a more gentle and loving place. May you apologize when you've caused harm. May you return again to love with each word, each breath. And when you don't, may you find someone who helps to set you back on that path. May you remember that you don't do this alone, but you do it in community. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath, and remain risen for our benediction. for our benediction today, I invite you to place your hands over your heart and close your eyes. Our benediction today is from Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Now open your eyes and look at each other. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Take courage, dear ones, as you go out into the world this week. Make the world a more gentle and loving place. Thank you.